All right, so I actually accidentally deleted my file, so I'm gonna have to start again, and we're gonna do something with the weather. I was looking at what we did for the homework last week, and I thought that you guys did a really great job of sort of applying things with like the functions with the parameters, and there wasn't really a return that would have worked well for that example. So I'm actually gonna stick with my original example of um, a weather page, just to give you sort of an example of what's going on with that. So you'll see it again. I'm actually going to just set up a couple things in the body. And of course, this will have no styling whatsoever. But I will put a P for each day, such as day 1. And I will put the weather, and I will put it in a span tag. Span ID equals day 1. Day temp 1. And I will put, let's say that it's going to be 24. I'm going to copy and paste that a couple times. So we've got day 2, day temp 2. It'll be 32 that day. Day 3, day 3, and it'll be a whopping 40 that day. But then on day 4, it's going to drop down to 17. And then finally, day 5, for our 5-day forecast, it'll be back around mid-20s, okay? And then the other thing I'm going to do is put 2 buttons down here. Button ID equals convert temp. And what we're going to write some code to do is that it's going to be one more thing to do here. P ID equals note all temps in Fahrenheit. Okay. So we're going to have to write some code that, one, will take all the values of these. It will then change the values from their current Fahrenheit to their current to the Celsius value, change each one, and then change this note to say that all temps are in Celsius, and then flip-flop back and forth depending on what we're going to do. So that's our goal. Weather forecast. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and get our script going. So of course we're going to need a couple different things in our script. First is we're going to have to write a function that converts the temperature. But we're going to have to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius as well as Celsius back to Fahrenheit. So I believe the current one I used was function, and I wrote F2C, right? And then it's current temp in Fahrenheit. And that equation is return current temp F current temp F minus 32 divided by 9 divided by 5. Okay. Now, before, what I would have done is I believe I set a variable called current temp C, and I let that equal this, and I returned current temp C. I can also do this. This will work fine. The return can be an expression, it can be a variable, all of those things. So this should return what we want. Now let us do this with C to F. And get it in current temp C. And current temp C, of course, is we want to return current temp C times 9.5, which I guess that's gonna all be in the parentheses. And then we add 32. Okay, so that is going to now, when we call C to F, it'll return the Fahrenheit, and when we do F to C, it will return the Celsius. Okay, so now we have our two functions that we can use over and over again as we need to. And then now we need to set up a function that gets triggered when the button is hit, which we'll put some code on there in just a second. But first, we're going to write this function, and we're going to call it function, and we're going to call it switch temps. How's that sound? Switch temps. There's no parameters for this one, and we're going to go ahead and put this in there right now. Now, there's one thing we have to do before we do that. We are going to need a global variable that defines let current temp equal F. Okay? Because we're gonna need some type of variable to check what's the current temp, so that we know how to convert it. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Actually, right now we don't need that. We will need that. We don't need that right now because we'll do something a little bit easier right now. We'll take baby steps. Okay, so function switch temps, what I need to do is I need to convert everything there. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to create a for loop. And you notice how my names are datemp1, datemp2, datemp3, datemp, oops, forgot to put these in there, 4 and 5, I can actually get these all with variables using a loop, using I to construct a name, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's first create a loop for the days of the forecast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, for I, let I equal 1 while I is less than or equal to 5. I'm sorry, it's actually less than 5. I plus plus, so that means add 1 to 5, as we know. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the current temperature from the span ID. How am I going to do that? I'm going to say document dot get ID parentheses quote the name. Now, instead of me having to do datemp1, datemp2, datemp3, datemp4, I'm going to use this variable. So day temp, and I'm going to put plus I. So just like we can concatenate strings, this is actually a string because you see it's taking a string value right here, and we are creating a string day temp plus I, which will be first day temp 1, day temp 2, day temp 3. So we have to have that one line, dot value. Of course, I'm so sorry, everyone. I actually just said let current temp equal document dot. There we go. Okay, now I need to let new temp equal we're going to do Fahrenheit to Celsius. So F to C what current temp. Okay. And now we're going to set yep. Now we're going to set document.get element by ID. That document.get element by ID datemp 1 dot text equals new temp. Okay? So what this is doing is creating a loop. It's going to run through all 5. It's going to get the current value, the text. Actually, shouldn't be value. I'm so sorry. It should be text. And then it's going to convert that, and then it's going to set the text to the new temperature. Let us see if this works. The way we're going to do it is we are going to, this is called switch temps. So we should be able to put on this button on click switch temps. I'm curious if this will work. Okay, so here we have it, 24, and I didn't put any text on the button. My bad. Convert temps. Okay, let's convert the temps and see if this works. I actually would like to, well, let's just try. It did not work. Let's look at my developer console and see what my error was. Interesting, that doesn't work. All right, so let's try and debug this. Why doesn't that work? Current temp. All right. Let's now load it. For undefines. Okay, my bad. I put text. It's actually inner text. And this is going to be dot inner text. Save that. Let's go to Safari, refresh, convert temps. There we go. Hey, that's kind of cool. So that worked. And all temps are now in Fahrenheit. So of course we want to change that note. We want document.get element by ID quote note dot inner text is equal to all temps in Celsius. Save it, refresh it, hit convert temps. all temps in Celsius. So that is actually pretty cool. That all changed. Now, how can we use everything we've learned so far with our, we're using, we're returning a value. We have our two variables here. How can we switch these temps back and forth, right? What's something that we can do? So the one thing that we can do is we can go ahead and we can do one, we have to set a flag. And what I mean by a flag is we're going to let current range equal F, because we're starting with Fahrenheit. And what we're going to do is we can do a little if right here. If current range equals F. It's actually if current range equals F. And it's not equals, is it, everyone? It's equals equals. I hope you're shouting that to me right now. We're going to say let new temp equal F to C, else let new temp C to F. Okay. Now there's one other thing that we need to do is on each one, if the current range is F, we need to convert it to C. I think I showed this to you before in terms of like a flip-flop, and we set this one to F. So now, and this will not work perfectly, but it will work. Convert temps. Can't find variable new temp. Oh, look at that. So what did I do wrong there? Right here, because I defined the let new temp be inside the if, so it's only living here. So what we need to do, of course, is go okay. And then we put new temp is here. New temp is here. There we go. Let's try it one more time. So like I said, since I had the let in here, because I was just copying and pasting, new temp didn't exist outside. So when it tried to set it from down here, it didn't work. Let's try it one more time. Let's try it back. Try it one more time. Try it back. This is clearly not the correct equation. So let me find the correct equation and use that for converting. But mostly it's working. Okay, so looks like this is, I'm just going to put a thing in parentheses here just to make sure that that works when we run this. The current temp C times 9.5. Let's give it a shot. Okay, let's go back. That's very funny. This keeps getting bigger and bigger. That tells me I'm currently not converts. That's not correct. There's a problem too. So my to Celsius is not working either. So let's do return. Let's put that all in parentheses as well. Oh, it was 5/9. I'm silly. Convert temp. Okay, so it's times. Sorry about this, everyone. Times 5/9. Refresh, please work. Do you know what my problem is? If current range is C, sorry, if current range is F, switch it to C, else switch it to F. And for whatever reason, it's just stuck in a loop. So we're going to put another note on here. I'm going to put converting to C. We'll put that at the beginning. And we'll put here converting, jeez, Greg, to F. Okay, save that, semicolon for good form. Save it. Let's run it again. Converting to C, converting to F, converting to C, converting to F. Oh. Do you see what I did there? I put this flip-flop inside the for loop, so it kept flipping back and forth really fast. So we need to change a couple things. We need to do this. What we need to do is we need to get our flip-flop out of this if. And what we can do is at the end of here, we can convert this. And that should work. Let's see if that works. It's embarrassing. Sorry, everyone. It's still not working. It's not working because I still did it inside the loop. It needs to go outside the loop, but inside the function. Well, as I said, sometimes during these videos, you're going to learn. There you go. Convert back, convert back, etc. Interestingly, 25 is not being triggered, of course, because it never gets that far. So we shall do if I is less than or equal to 5. There it is. We can convert back and forth. And then, of course, how do we do this? We can put it in here as well. We can say, pull this text out here. Temps in Celsius, and in this one, sorry, it's Fahrenheit. And we can do the same here. Celsius. Now we shall run this. Jeez, I even loaded the wrong browser. I'm so excited. Refresh this. All temps in Celsius. All temps in Fahrenheit. Celsius, Fahrenheit, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Okay. So this is actually, yay, I'm done. And we went through it together, which is good. So you saw some mistakes and you saw some things that I even seem to do sometimes. But the other thing that we're seeing is how much easier it is to do things because we have these two utilitary functions. And we're able to call them as needed as we want. We can actually make this a whole lot more. I'm going to actually make a new video that's optional. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to make this a whole lot more efficient using just these functions as well as maybe another function to compare. So you don't have to watch the next one, but you can because I think it's going to be interesting.